Hi. This evening I am going to be talking a little bit more about my personal life. And I'm going to hope I don't overshare. And at the same time, I hope that this provides context for my lack of consistency, I don't want to identify with that. Context for, if I am not consistent every single day, if my energy just seems off. A lot in my life is shifting me towards a life more aligned with my ideals, which is beautiful, but it's very scary because I'm increasingly aware of how much is off. Anyways, so much is changing. First of all, I'll just say I have to be moved out by June 1st. My whole family is moving. I have the option to go with them. But it's not a sustainable option. To back things up, I went to school at SVA in 2024, fall of 2024, and I studied 2D animation. I was on the highest scholarship that they said that they could offer, and I don't say this to brag about myself, but to give context of how I was able to get that education. On top of that, I took out loans, and you know what? No, we're not gonna stop there. We're gonna keep going. In order to understand this, I have to back up even further. I did not grow up in a community that situated me well for college or for having any kind of life of my own. More than anything, it was psychologically damaging, physically damaging, but psychologically damaging in ways that I am still processing and will always be processing. And it is difficult for me to straight up talk about in a way that I feel like does it justice. And I don't want to be like full of myself, or I know that I'm not the only person that suffers, but I know that it has impacted me very deeply. So it's something that I often explore in poetry. And if that's something that you like to see, I feel like I'm giving away my secrets, but that's artistry, I guess. I don't know. It's me being honest. Anyways, you could say it was a cult, you could say it was a commune, it was somewhere like a pseudo-socialist, fundamentalist Christian group. Very, very interesting, and I think I will forever be interested in it. But I wasn't encouraged to think about my future or have a future of my own. The idea of having anything of my own was something to be ashamed of. And Yet at the same time, I was birthed with an insatiable desire to observe the world and to create beautiful things, because I saw so much beauty around me, and I was increasingly frustrated by how small my world was. So many questions, and oftentimes I would get very frustrated at the adults in my life. And I know that this is kind of leaning into trauma dumping territory, but I guess since I'm just letting it flow, I want to trust that all of the information I give to you tonight will help provide context for where I am at now. And yeah, I don't know what it will do, but I have had so many years of not sharing my voice, or of having to edit my voice, feeling the need to edit myself so much that it's restrictive. So I'm going to bring my signature spirituality into this, okay? Because this is the language I use. Lots of throat chakra healing has been done. Anyways, okay, so yeah, insatiable drive to create. I think that I learned about how Disney and other animation studios created the illusion of life. That's even like the Big Disney textbook. And I was just like, wow, animation and experimental animation films. I loved Fantasia. I loved Jack Stauber. I loved Vune. Anything weird and anything that combined music and visuals and a storyline that made you think, that anything that leads to further questions just blew me away. I'm like, I can do that. I want to do that. That I find so much value in that. That is what I want to share with people. So I went down the rabbit hole of studying how nobody in my small bubble had any information on this. When I was allowed to access to the internet, I eventually discovered CalArts. And tried really hard to get into CalArts throughout. Since I was like in 6th grade, I want to say. Yeah. All through my senior year, I tried really hard to develop all the skills necessary. But on top of this, my school didn't have an arts program. We had a lot of music programs, which I will say I love. I played percussion, and I'm not going to get into it, but I love music so much. Anyways, yeah, I really hyperfixated on animation because it was something out of my... But it was something out of my reach. And maybe it's because it was something out of my reach. But anyways. So when my parents noticed that I liked drawing, like, they didn't quite understand what it was that I was after. I didn't completely understand what it was that I was after. But, I started getting sketchbooks and would use whatever I could. I would see people using Copic markers, hyperfixated on that for a while, and felt like, oh, my little pencils and Crayola crayons aren't good enough. These aren't going to get me into CalArts, and then I won't be able to have financial freedom because there was no financial freedom and no financial literacy in the environment that I grew up in. And yeah, it's so hard to talk about, because I just a million directions. But yeah, when I was, oh yeah, in the meantime, like I said, my high school had very, very rough schedules. And I went to high school from 2016, why am I doing that? 2020 to 2024. I don't know why I said 2016, but yeah, anyways. Yeah. And that time was spent really struggling with my mental health and really attaching myself to this goal that I thought would save me. So, senior year comes around. I come out to my parents. This is the summer before senior year, or spring, which is a whole story in itself. And somehow, by miraculous shift in mindset, they allow me to go to a public school. And this was my first time in a public school. This was my first time taking AP classes, having somebody outside of myself and the internet talk about credits and degrees and prep. And I don't know, I've always struggled with this feeling that I'm behind. And I don't say that because I think I'm alone. A lot of people struggle with that, obviously. But you can imagine somebody who has never been to a school outside of this highly controlled environment, private school, with all of these dreams and all this passion, and yeah, how it feels to just the amount of mental overload all of this was. And I was so excited for it, so open. I mean, this is what I wanted, right? But it was a lot. I had to do what it seemed like a lot of other kids, their parents set them up for, or their counselors set them up for. And might I add, even then, there wasn't a lot of resources and support, and a lot of other individuals struggled. So it's really interesting in many ways, I have come out of a system that didn't, just to keep it like speaking for me statements, didn't resonate with me, into a system that also didn't resonate with me, into and that's life, I guess. But I'm rambling and I don't really like this energy that I am in. But if we work through this together, stay with me. Yeah. Yeah. I'm like sharing my life story, but not sharing my life story, and I keep getting off track because I've reached a point of that. So I didn't get into Cal Arts. But, in junior year, I fell in love with a little show Freshman year, no. Freshman year, fell in love with a little show called The Owl House. I was allowed to watch Steven Universe. No, I wasn't. I wasn't allowed to watch Steven Universe, and I wasn't allowed to watch The Owl House, actually. I watched both of them in private and made a bunch of friends online that loved The Owl House. And this was my first time in a welcoming queer artistic community, be it online, but it shaped a ton of my life path, I guess. I watched live streams from the creators of The Owl House. I watched Gravity Falls. I discovered Dana Terrace and Rebecca Sugar and Alex Hirsch. And, so all of these figures. And, from a slightly different life, Tove Jansson. But now Rebecca Sugar is making a Moomin movie, so, worlds collide. And Alice Oseman. All of these creative individuals that connected with me. And one thread I noticed was SVA. So when I showed up to my first ever portfolio review, and I had dreamed of portfolio reviews for ever, when I showed up to that, I was surprised that the admissions counselor from SVA looked over my portfolio that was mostly, all my skills came from self-taught and YouTube videos. Shout out to Cynic's Designs and going back to my roots, drawing with waffles. Oh God, there's so many. And I'm a little bit disconnected from it right now, but that's okay. He liked it. He liked my portfolio, and I was so prepared. I learned to be very open to criticism, because that's what you do. That's what you do. You are open to criticism and allow... I was showing up there whatever happens. I am here to learn and improve my skill set because I want to be the best at this. But he liked what I made. So, with all of my stress of applying to CalArts, I threw in a little application to SVA. And I ended up getting in. And I remember it felt right. So, had a little discussion with mi familia, and after graduation, I flew to New York. Actually, no, we drove to New York. And thought I might be starting my life there. Unfortunately, the tuition was too much. Simply put, the tuition was too much. I realized that there was so much more that was part of my calling than just animating. And paying for a program that wouldn't allow me to explore music as deeply, paying that quantity and going in that much debt, when I could be self-led, and I had been self-led all my life. And, and the money that I was putting there could be put towards online courses, etc., etc. It was a lot. And I know that it stressed my family out, even though every time that I checked in with them, they said it was fine. My family said that they would help me cover. I had my own savings, but then on top of that, my family said that they would help me cover the first semester, and after that I'd be on my own. Or the first year, and after that I'd be on my own. But it ended up just being the first semester because I took a leave of absence after that. There's a lot of other details that went in there. A Lucy Dacus show, romance, etc. But, you know. I thought that I would be staying in New York. Everything seemed to be working out. I had developed a community that I thought maybe I'd be able to find a job here. I'm fine working a lot to pay for rent, and I just want to be independent. I want to be independent, I want to keep learning, and I want to create. And I want to be kind. I want to be kind. I want to feel like don't have to fight anymore. But the timeline did not work out for me to stay in New York. And so I sucked it up and came back home to live with my family. Where, because I wasn't in school, even though technically I was on a leave of absence, I started paying rent, which meant I had to get a job. And this wasn't my first job, but it was my first time having financial responsibilities that I did not choose, which was frustrating, but I didn't have a choice. Otherwise, I would be homeless. And I kept looking, I kept apartment hunting, but nothing seemed to click. I went to Seattle, and again, things almost seemed to work out, but then they didn't. And I've had a positive experience at every single job that I've been to. I struggle with self-doubt, and I've been told this by people, but I receive a lot of positive feedback. I've been surrounded by wonderful individuals at my workplace, and I have given my all. And I've grown and learned a lot, but I've always ended up burned out. And this burnout gets worse and worse because I am never able to get completely the rest that I need. And I don't want to sound like I'm complaining. I don't want to sound like... I know that there are ways that I can take more ownership over my life and experiences, and this is one of those. Like, putting this out here and seeing, I don't know, maybe other resources that people have for me, and like learning resources, suggestions, advice, as well as like material resources or a place to stay, but I'll get into all that later. Yeah, I know that there are a lot of lessons that I have yet to learn. But man, I'm tired. And being in this environment, I'm the eldest of 6. In a family that's been through a lot. And I haven't always seen eye to eye, even within this family. And it's led to a lot of change. Not that all the changes in my family are from me, but my curiosity challenges norms, but not everybody wants that, and that's become apparent, and that's okay. I've just backed down for so much of my life that it's important to me that I don't do that anymore. And the longer that I spend here, the more that those patterns continue. And so it's hard to be trying to recover from burnout in an environment that is also burning you out. And I don't know where this is going to lead. Like, I say this with so much love for the individuals in my life. I've tried changing jobs, I've tried changing hours, I've tried changing my lifestyle, but the common denominator seems to be that I need to move. I have a license, but the car I've been using is going to be sold. It's not mine, it's my family's. I have been a chronic saver to the point where it impacts my physical health because I can put off buying necessities and wait for things to come to me, and sometimes that's not good. But anyways, like, I've been getting better at finances, or like, I think I do the best that I can with the finances that I have. It's just tight. It's just tight. And I've taken a lot of pride in like being able to make it work, but girl, it's not working anymore. It's getting close to not working anymore. Like, something needs to shift. So all I know is I have to move out on June 1st. I have collected a lot over the years from my various jobs. The memories that I make in my life mean a lot to me. I find symbolism in everything, and so it can be hard to release. But I cracked an idea that if I can invite people over and have them go through my things and watch as they pick stuff out and converse with them about why, and bless the item for them so that it may give them all of the abundance that it's given me and more. Then that would close the cycle. That would allow it to be passed on without it feeling like I have neglected all of these things in my life that I love. I should have said neglected all the things I've collected. Yeah. So how can you help? If you... Oh, I'm sorry if my voice is too loud and you can hear like all my throat sounds. If you have finances to offer, if you have like spare cash, you're under no obligation to do any of this. Like, just you being here right now is helping me achieve my dreams, and this like long term is going to be the thing that matters most. So thank you for that. And I you're going to have a wonderful evening, a wonderful morning, and you're going to find so much magic today because I said so. And my words are powerful. And see, I'm holding like my stomach now, and like I feel the sacral chakra. Sacral chakra has been going through a lot, girly. If you have financial resources to offer, I can link my Venmo down there. You can send me an email letting me know how you might want to help. If you're interested in tarot and astrology readings, that's another way that you can financially support me, and I can offer you a service. If you are in the Twin Cities area, you can shoot me a message on Instagram, the.maraverse, or you can leave a comment here. You can like interact with this in any way, shape, form. Share this with people who you think might be able to help. If you are a professor in a university that has a spot open where a full ride might be possible, that would give me a place to expand my brain, to learn, to create, to have a space to live without attachment to this, to start fresh. If you're someone outside of the country who has a space that I can get started, I do have, I'll be completely authentic here, I have just under 5,000 in savings. And I've been saving, I think, about 30% of my paychecks. And 50% have been going towards my rent and utilities anyways. Yeah, if you have a place for me to stay, the U.S. is in shambles, man. We know this. As a sensitive creature, who is burnt out. Like, I want to help so badly. But I know I need to heal. And the spaces to heal aren't. It's been a very solitary journey. And I'm alright. I'm alright introspecting, and I'm alright doing healing and shadow work on my own, but community is so important. And being surrounded by people who recognize what's going on in here and have the ability to create space for that. Is just as necessary as the willingness to do the work. Yeah, if you watch this past June 1st, I mean, know that I've survived. I hope. God, I hope. I don't want, I have so much drive to keep living, and that's what scares me, is not having lived. not having embodied my purpose so fully. And I know I'm placing a lot of pressure on myself, but I do feel like I have a lot to share and a lot to learn. Like, I have so much drive to learn. It'd be such a shame for my life to go by without having shared it in any meaningful way. So if there's a way you recognize that in me, and if you know of a way that you can help, and that I can help you, like Lord knows I give back. I might not have, I do have much. I have a lot of thoughts. I have a lot of passion. I have a lot of like books and like material things that I can let go of. And I can share. It is not what the people in my present reality need, or like my life is just not set up in a way where what I am able to give is able to be given back to me in a way that allows me to keep living long term. I am still here. I don't want to be over dramatic, but my overall health has taken a huge toll. And yeah, I wish that I could have helped when it was just mental. But it was never just mental. The physical signs were always there, but the physical signs are becoming louder. God. I'm like trying so hard to be kind to myself, because a part of me, I know that this video would be more palatable if I edited it. I know that I ramble a lot. I know that maybe nobody will see this. But I did make a promise to myself not to edit, and to trust that the words that I am saying are what is meant to be said. This is an accurate snapshot of my headspace. And I suppose if you find it odd, I mean, some of that is just me, but some of that is also that I'm just so tired. I'm honestly so tired. And maybe me sharing that honest energy, if nothing else, can make somebody out there feel seen. Feel like they're not alone, and they don't have to constantly edit themselves to deserve going after their dreams, to deserve it. I mean, fundamentally living, but nobody has to do anything to deserve living. And that is a concept that I still, even after everything, have to constantly actively work through. So yeah. I'm just really tired in every which way. But I am full of so much love. And I can't wait for the day where I have the energy to just pour out into everybody with so much confidence. Right now, though, I have my words. I have my heart. And I can tell you that I can give my gratitude to you for sticking through all of this, even if you skipped around, whatever. You clicking on this video means a lot. You listening to my voice means a lot. The comments that you leave mean a lot. So that fills me up in one way. And all that energy I send back to you. So when you hear the birds chirp outside today, when your left ear starts ringing, when you notice that your handwriting has slightly shifted, when you see 12:17 on the clock, you know someone's looking out for you. And you know that things are going to be okay for you. That a stroke of luck, whatever your wish is, will come true. This is just a difficult part of my journey. And I'm reaching out for help in my honest way. My heart is beating very quickly. After this, I'm going to go to bed. I'm going to upload this video. I'm starting to get sweats now as I'm doing this, which is a sign that this is something very scary, which is a sign that I will learn something from it. This is not a life or death situation. I don't know what's going to happen. But I'll find out. And I look forward to having you with me. I hope to keep creating mystical, whimsical things. And I hope to create a persona for myself and feel secure enough where just feel so secure in myself that it radiates out and makes you feel secure. Because what we consume consumes us. So thanks for letting me be a part of you. And I hope that it's a pleasant part. I love you lots. Have a great evening. And good night from the Maraverse.